Yeah, this is different.
Everyone, I look back at the like original pictures that I had in my home studio
Yeah.
there, and everyone's wearing headphones in those pictures. So we must have done it with
I
the
think it
headphones.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to believe that was friggin' 3 years ago, like
Yeah.
or more almost. I
I
mean,
was thinking about that too.
yeah. Oh, by the way, what should I call you? Do you go by Revé or do you go by Priya still or?
I think Revé
Yeah. Okay.
is the best way to go
We'll go
about
with
it.
Revé from here on.
Yeah. But I really don't mind if people call me either or. It's still
Okay.
me. It's just, yeah, either one.
Okay. How'd you get that name?
So we were all sitting in a room one day, and I was kind of like, I don't want to change my name. I feel like I'm gonna, I don't know, like it's not gonna be me anymore. I'm gonna have a hard time attaching to it. But then we were like, okay, well, what are some of the reasons why we want to change the name? And it's because there's a Priya already on Spotify
Yeah.
blowing up. And it can be done. Like people can have the same name and still put out music, but then that was also a big factor for me to want to differentiate myself more.
I see.
And I went into things that meant a lot to me. And it was dreams. And I was just at that time thinking about names, collecting words on Pinterest that were different to me or were pronounced differently. And the origin of Revé is French. And there was a bunch of brown people in one room trying to figure out a French name. And we put the accent the wrong way and put it into Google Translate.
Yeah.
And it was saying Revé. And I just really like the ring of it. And I love the origin of it. And now it's always Revé, which means always dream. And it means a lot to me.
It means if you conjugate it into a different tense in the French language, it would be pronounced rêver.
Yeah.
So it works.
It works.
It
Okay,
works both
good.
ways.
Because I know you speak French,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
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 It's cool. I like it a lot. And I like the accent.
Yeah. And dreams to me, it's like anything that you could be doing in life that you think about that are your aspirations and the things you want to do. Or it could be, for me, it was, I have a really strong connection to the dreams that I have when I sleep. It's a place for me to go. It teaches me about my life. I feel like I've had signals from my dreams. It's my subconscious. I connect to it really deeply.
Do you ever write your dreams down, like in the morning?
Yeah, sometimes. I have less dreams now, but at one point in my life, I was just getting these messages and I would dream about things and they would happen. And I've been able to astral project twice. I love lucid dreaming, all of that. And I find it so exciting. And I want to share that with the world. Go sleep, go love your dreams. There's a whole universe within us.
Yeah. Whole, if you really sit and think about it, we live like half our lives asleep almost.
We do. It's scientific. I think it's like 40% of our lives
Right? Yeah.
are spent in the dream world. And it's the closest thing that we think can get us to what it feels like when we die.
I guess
It's
so.
the closest thing to death. Like,
Yeah.
so strange to think about.
Yeah, dreams are crazy. So that's the origins of the name.
Yeah.
You're running with it.
Yeah.
Tell me how things are going. I mean, the last time we met was about 3 years ago. You had put some music out then, but I think you were still trying to, obviously you hadn't branded yourself as well as you have now with the name. So much has changed. You've grown so much. I'm following you on online, just rooting for you so hard.
Yeah.
So
Good.
like, talk to me about like what you're working on now, how things are going.
I think things have been great. They're going great. I only have positive experiences to share about my time in the industry and the people that I've met and the people I've gotten to work with. And I've had a lot of help as well. I think when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was I have to make good music and I have to make music that I love and I want to put it out. I want to reach people. And it did. And I met Kldar, who you also interviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our got bounce.
And we worked together very closely and he's helped me develop my sound and explore more about like what I want to do. And that's anything and everything. Like he likes to make any type of genre of music. I love that too. And there's no boundaries. And I think that is so freeing. And it was a really good place for me to start because he helped me he coached me almost into what direction that I wanted to go in a
Right.
very open environment. And I think me being so young, it took a lot of pressure off, and it let me explore my creativity a lot more than I anticipated.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So he's really sort of molded you, I guess, and brought you from refined, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you're recording with him. Is he also doing your mixing as well?
He's doing my
Yeah.
mixing, the producing.
Yeah.
I feel like he knows how to handle my voice so nicely because he's heard it from the beginning.
Right.
He knows what it should sound like. And yeah, overall, like even like some of the newer stuff that we're going to be putting out, like he's so excited for like the sound, and then he'll think of like the idea for the visuals too. Like we're both so excited for it, and I don't want to share too much about it, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you after.
Yeah,
I'll show you after.
super involved. Like that's
Yeah.
so cool. That's so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and he's obviously, you know, super diverse in what he can do, super talented. One of the most humble people I know. So that's great. I'm so glad that you've got that good chemistry, right? Like you guys are such a
Yeah.
good fit, clearly.
Yeah.
If we can continue talking about the music for a sec,
course.
I've been listening to your catalog quite a bit recently in preparation for today. So impressed with what I'm hearing. I love
Thank
the
you.
production choices. I love just the sound that you guys are going for. It's how would I describe it? It's obviously the soul and the R&B are there, like the jazz chords on the guitars and all that. But I'm getting this retro feel that I don't know where it's coming from. I'm seeing like candles and expensive like hotel lobbies with grand pianos and shit when I hear your music. I'm just super into it. So, you know, where are you getting your inspiration from right now for the music you're putting out?
I had a session with Kildar last night, and we were talking about Nina Simone a lot. I think we love to work with live instruments, that sound, and then building it on top of it with my voice. Like we can almost explore any genre of music. I think what binds it all together, that's Revé, is the soulfulness of my voice. I think that's what balances it out. I think anything kind of live sounding, that really inspires us. Lana Del Rey, Amy Winehouse, all those kinds of people. Yeah.
Yeah, more I mean, it's not, I don't think raw is the right word, but there's something really organic about what I'm hearing. Like and tell me if I'm wrong, because when I'm listening to it, obviously I'm hearing it as a fan, but I'm also, my engineer brain is working overtime.
Yeah.
Because I can't not hear the mixing anytime I'm hearing anything really.
Yeah.
But as far as the mixing and the production, I'm hearing mostly one vocal most of the time. Very little distraction, very little layers, like no ad libs.
Yeah.
And I really like the simplicity. Am I like accurate with that?
I think you are.
Yeah.
And that's because a lot of the songs that we do are done in one take.
Crazy.
A lot of them, well, recently now, depending on what kind of song we're doing, we punch in, but a lot of them are done in one take. Like the song Die One Day, that was almost entirely a freestyle, and it was the second take that we did from start to finish, and all KGB had to do when recording me was press the space button. Wow. Yeah. And I think that's why there's so much rawness. And I think there are songs where I'd want to add layers and all that, but sometimes I get so attached to the way that it just sounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, wow, we did that.
Yeah, right. That just happened.
I want people to hear that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what we were taught in school, to kind of always keep the microphone live and always capture, like if an artist is warming up, like capture that, record it,
right
no matter
away.
what.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to get magic.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is just those takes where there's the pressure's gone and you're just like doing a freestyle, or you're just like, this is my warm-up take, but actually, hey, that was kind of sick.
Yeah. And another thing that I really like to do, it's like while KGB is building the beat, like I'll just go on the reference mic and he's recording all the takes that I do of the melodies. And then we'll lay down every single melody that we like, structure it, and then we'll write on top of it. And then that's where we would have to punch in if we were to do a song like that. But
That's so cool, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was hearing quite a few instances of instrumentation following your voice with the melody in some of those records, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Totally like complementing each other. So yeah, wow, this is really cool that you guys have got this, you know, this chemistry going. How much of the live instrumentation is done on the spot, or are you guys sourcing out session players as well to add production afterwards?
So like nobody actually comes and plays live. Like he just uses Splice or Lipperman, or he has a bunch of plugins where he plays it himself on the piano, and then it'll kind of translate into whatever instrument we want it to be.
The MIDI, he's turning MIDI into something else. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, stuff like that, and then he just kind of puts it together. Yeah. But
it's entirely the two of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, especially when I start doing more shows live, I want a band so badly, and then I think maybe that'll open it up to having those people come to our sessions too, and yeah,
you would benefit from that tremendously. I can definitely see that having a live band there. That would be really cool. Let me know when that show happens, because I'll be front row.
Of course.
Very cool.
I would love to do something like that at Guilt & Co.
Are you performing much now? I mean, obviously we just came off of the pandemic, but have you been doing sets?
Yeah, I feel like I've done a fair amount. I wouldn't say it's a lot, but I think I've done 4 this year.
Okay.
Yeah, for a little bit I was trying to find open mics anywhere I could just to get the practice in.
Nice.
So I did that one at Lanaloo's. You just go sign up, put your name down, you sing a couple of songs for whoever is at the bar that night. I've done 2 in Abbotsford. Those were full sets. Those were hour-long sets, and that was different for me because I don't think I've performed that long before, but I really enjoy it. I love singing live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different than being on the mic, hey?
It is. No redos.
No redos, the stamina thing, you've got to be there.
I sing so many of my songs sitting down, crunched up.
Yeah, and then you're on stage moving around, and it's a really different dynamic.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of practice, and you'll only get better when you do it more and more in front of people. Yeah.
I found when I was, back in the day when I was still making, records, I was emceeing and doing the live shows made me a better MC. I would learn from those live sets and take those experiences and those skills into the studio.
Right.
And I'd deliver better. My stamina was better. It taught me how to breathe correctly, all of these sort of fundamentals that are really overlooked most of the time, at least for a lot of the artists that I work with, or up and coming rappers, just forget to breathe. Just simply either it's built into the way they're practicing at home, or it's the way that it's written out and they're not leaving gaps. But
right.
Oh my God, breathing is so important.
It is. It's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So you're doing live sets. Can we go back to the music thing for a sec? The recording. I'm so curious about there seems to be this, at least for me, I'm catching it, I'm loving the reverb that I'm hearing on all the songs. It just seems like your guys are just going 200% with the reverbs. Is that a personal choice? Is that accidental? Are you
no,
splash it?
Yeah, I'm turn it all the way
Yes.
up. I'll work with a different producer who hasn't had as much experience with my vocals before. I'm auto tune on the lower end, reverb all the way, all the way.
Yeah.
It's just more, and they're you sure you want more? I'm yeah, put it on.
Do you track with that as well, or is it do you like to hear your voice in space while you're recording?
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps me, guides me into what kind of sound I want to have while I'm recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with singing, and not it lends itself much more to what you're doing than typically rap won't have any reverb on it, or very short reverb. But yeah, I mean those longer notes, the bigger, the swells and things like that. You can, I don't know, you can gauge your performance a little bit better with the feedback of the reverb in the headphones too.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long after a session, let's say you guys have tracked, I mean, beat's already made, right? Because you guys are structuring it from the beginning, and it's tracked. What does the mixing and mastering of that look like? How long is that taking? Are you usually involved quite a bit yourself, or do you just let Kaltar kind of do his thing?
I am not. I sit in on the sessions, but I don't know how to involve myself. I don't feel like I know enough about it. And like to me, like I don't sometimes know the details of like what sound, like if it just sounds good to me, it sounds good. But I want to practice more on like, is there's a breath here that I want taken out in the mixing, or this should be a little bit louder. How would it sound if this effect was on?
Yeah.
I want to learn more about that and then give advice. But most of the time I just let KGB handle it. And then as for how it's being done and how soon after, usually KGB mixes and masters it like as soon as we're done
Nice.
doing the demo or whatever. He always puts a little bit of a master on there. Yeah. And then we go back to when it's time to release that song to go through it and make sure everything's done with it. But I think he goes back to the sessions whenever throughout that period to just check in on it. If he has something to add or take away, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. It's different for everyone. You know, I work with a bunch of different artists and different genres, and some people are the type of person who will send pages of notes and suggestions, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like when people are involved to that degree, because a lot of that's actually post-production. When I'm getting that many notes, it's like, you know, delay this word, you know, reverb here, beat drop here. It's not so much like turn the kick up 2 decibels. It's like it's more creative shit.
Yeah.
And then you get the people that are more like know me and like, Max, do your thing, and it's like take that ad lib out and we're done. Yeah. And I see the whole spectrum, right? And I'm always curious where people are at with their own music, you know, who don't work with me, what their experiences are like, because sometimes it takes a long time. Yeah. Sometimes it's very involved. You know?
I think for me, like, I just don't really know like what advice to give. Like sometimes I don't know. Like if something needs to be turned up or down, I feel like KGB just usually knows himself, right? Like he'll just go ahead and do it. But I don't know, what would you say like is good feedback for an artist to give to somebody who's mixing or mastering?
It depends. Like, you know, some people are, like I said, are super particular, but may lack the language, the vocabulary of, you know, of the engineering terms, for example. So I've had to learn over the years that when an artist says something, it's not actually what they're saying directly. I have to interpret it maybe 3 different ways and being like, what do they actually mean by that?
I relate to that.
And because they don't know the word, or they don't know exactly how to describe what they're hearing in their head. Right. And then I'll have to think a little outside the box. And so, yeah, I mean, that's been a learning experience for me. But I would say for anybody, spend as much time as you can with your producer, with your engineer, and, you know, look over their shoulder, ask questions, you know, get to know what Pro Tools looks like. You know, when they go for a water break or whatever, like ask permission and sit in the chair and just like poke around at the session. And you know,
that's actually really good advice, because maybe when you start to know like what everything is, then that's how you're going to learn the terms or be able to describe things better, or even get other ideas of how you want to mix the song. Like it could take it to a completely different direction. Yeah. And like, do you know who Rosalia is? Yeah, sure. Like I think in her recent album, she said that she was very involved in the mixing of it. And I'm like, well, maybe if she just left it up to somebody else, her album wouldn't have been as good as it is, or the details wouldn't have been as easy to recognize if she wasn't involved in it. And I'm like, what if there's things that KGB doesn't know or like doesn't realize that I can point out if I understood it better? Yeah,
it's adding a perspective. It's a taste. Really, mixing is a taste thing at the end of the day. Right. It is obviously the technical skills and the know-how and stuff, but it's really taste. It's like cooking a meal. You know, I always like to compare it to food. You know, but it really is. What was I gonna say about that? Yeah, so back to, learning terms and things like that. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention a really good example of looking over the engineer's shoulder is Eminem. Okay. Eminem obviously was discovered by Dr. Dre. Everybody knows that. Back in the day, produced it, helped him come up.
Right.
But if you go through Eminem's credits, sort of Eminem show to early 2000s onward, Dr. Dre is very not involved in those credits. And I was, to my amazement, when I looked at that, a lot of, the production is actually Eminem.
Wow.
And, the Tupac album that came out when I was just graduating high school, Loyal to the Game, produced by Eminem, mixed by Eminem. Think about that for a
Wow.
second. They, like, Tupac's team
Yeah.
from heaven trusted Eminem
Yeah.
with the sound. Eminem's not known as an engineer, but
No.
all those years of being in the studio with Dre, sitting at that console, looking over his shoulder, asking questions, poking around, and he learned all that shit.
Yeah.
He picked up all of those skills enough to like be
Yeah.
the head mixer on an album.
On
And
a
there's
very big album.
a huge
Yeah.
album, and
Yeah.
with those credits go on and on. If you look at like some of the G Unit stuff, people like Lloyd Banks and stuff, Eminem's like a mixer on a lot of that stuff.
Wow.
So really crazy when you think about that. He, the greatness of him as an MC, but also an incredibly talented producer and engineer.
Yeah.
So yeah, for everybody that's coming up, there's no harm in learning those extra things. You'll only be better
Yeah.
off. You'll learn a new language. You'll better yourself because you'll be able to provide more input. You'll be able to
Yeah.
speak that language.
Especially in something that you love so much and want to do for the rest of your life. I feel like there's probably no better feeling than being able to use all the right terms with the producer. I'd
Yeah.
feel so smart. I'd feel so
Yeah.
good at my job.
Yeah.
And like going to other people too, like to get songs and stuff mastered.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I did decide to ever go to somebody else and KGB's not there, I have no idea what to tell the other person of how I like it. If they've never worked with my voice
There you go.
before, knowing that, going, like, because I'm going to be working with
Mm-hmm.
other people as I go on throughout my career. It's good for me.
That's inevitable, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll have
gotta
to
know
know
what you like.
what to
Yeah.
you'll have to know like how to get the thought out of your brain but into the correct terms, how to
Yeah.
explain it, how to get the message across.
Right.
So things aren't lost in translation, because that does, like I said, that does happen a lot.
Yeah. And you feel like such an idiot when you're trying to explain something and
It's
you're
tough.
kind of like describing a sound, which can be really hard.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It can be really frustrating.
Yeah.
But there's so much to learn in the realm of engineering and mixing, and I have had such a great time with Jamon. Not working with him as much anymore. He's sort of taken on the role of his own engineer, which is so cool.
Wow.
Because I feel partly responsible for that.
Yeah.
And he's actually told me himself, a lot of this, like, you taught me how to mix. He's told me that. And now that I see how much success he's having and sort of start to finish doing things himself, I talked about this on a previous episode a little bit, but it's so cool to see, like, there's so much, I'm so happy for him. There's so much pride. He's so well-rounded now.
Yeah.
And going forward, whoever he works with, when he's in another country, in another city, he's got the language figured out,
Right.
because he's doing it himself now.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that.
And music is a universal language. Like all of it, when you go anywhere, you'll be able to communicate with anyone. And that just
yeah.
helps grow your independence too, as an artist, especially nowadays. You want to be as skilled as possible and coherent in everything that you do.
Yeah.
We got to fend for ourselves out here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really do, have to be extremely well-rounded these days. I think there's still obviously a benefit of having a team around you,
Absolutely.
of people you can trust. You don't want to be up all night doing your own artwork when you can trust somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
But still to be involved
Yeah.
and to have a basic understanding of like all of the complexities and the inner workings of like what it is to be an artist, all the things that
Right.
are required, all the things that happen once the song is finished. Like that's when the game really starts. You know, what do we need to do next? Learning about promotion and social media and stuff. And my gosh,
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff that I did not really take into account when starting this. I didn't understand the extent of how much I would have to do or learn or get other people to do. It's a lot more than just making music.
What
Yeah.
point? At what point in your career do you feel like you had the realization of like, okay, I'm taking this beyond a demo now. I understand like what it is to finish a record. Like, was it the first time maybe Kaltar did a really nice mix for you and you're like, oh, this is no longer a demo, this is a record? You know what I mean? Like, do you see what I'm trying to ask? Like, was there a point? Because I still find with a lot of the people, not so much anymore, but definitely over the years, it was really tough to convince younger artists that like, no, this isn't done. Like you came and recorded and we've got a demo here from a MP3 that you stole off YouTube.
Right.
Have you considered, you know, maybe buying the track outs, getting the stems? You know, this is what I charge to mix and master. I'd love to help you take this to the next level. Have you considered that? Do you remember that moment or period in your career coming up?
Yeah, I think it actually started as soon as like we started working together, because that's what I went into track to do. I wanted to go learn how to fully complete a song so that it's ready to be put out. And that's what you did. You taught me that things need to be mixed and mastered. I had no idea.
Okay.
I had no idea. And that's when I knew like there's an additional step to what it takes to it being finished. Did I buy the licenses to the things that I had used? No, but I learned that after when I did go and work with Goldar and the rest of the team. They taught me that there are rights and that you have to do it the right way before it bites you in the ass later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I had that idea before going in to work with them. And I didn't realize the rest of it, like promoting and how to upload the song properly on a DistroKid so it comes out 4 weeks before, all that.
Yeah.
Until I started working with them. And it was a fairly quick process. Like I don't remember exactly a moment when it clicked, but we had just made, my only job from the team was to make a bunch of songs for a certain amount of months and then pick the ones that I liked, that we all liked.
Yeah.
And then from there it was, okay, you got to set a date, you got to get a cover art, you have to have release visuals. And I loved all of it. I love being involved in the way that it's going to look. But then I also had to learn how to trust other people to do their job because they're better than me at it. And I can't do it all. And I had to learn how to make the right decisions about who I want to work with, who's going to, I had to learn how to communicate my ideas the best way possible. So I'm not disappointed afterwards, or I can vet the right people to get it done. All of that, I think, was where I started to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Instead of just the track itself. The track itself, I felt like even now is some of the easiest parts of all of this. Like the music's being made way faster than anything else.
That was very eloquently put. You touched on so many good points there, but it really is. I mean, if you're someone like yourself that obviously this comes natural to, the music sort of making the songs the easy part, right?
Yeah.
You know, I just make songs in my sleep.
Yeah. And I learned how important it is to mood board. And I even started to take my own pictures or learn how to edit things just really basically, but to get the ideas across a lot better. Because when you're just using words to describe things, people might not get it. Yeah. I love to be able to visually represent it because that's what I want out of it. I want something visually to explain what I'm doing. Yeah.
Do you ever see the visuals first and then get an idea for the song, or like the other way around, like the song's coming together and then you'll say, oh, I got an idea for the cover or the video?
Yeah.
Like, what point does it happen for
I think it's just different for every release.
Okay.
It's happened both ways for me. this year, what I'd really like to do, because I wanted to grow my creative team more, I wanted to work with more people and just experiment about what my brand, quotation marks, was. And I worked with different people. So I would get like a videographer to do the BTS for the shoot, a photographer, we would get a stylist, all of that, and we would just shoot anything we wanted. We would just pick a direction and we would do that, and then we'd see what songs fit the photos that came out of that shoot or the video that came out of there. Or if there's a song with a specific story that I want to capture, then we go about it with choosing the song first and then seeing where the story goes from there. Yeah. So it can be really either way.
Yeah, I guess just whenever the inspiration catches you, right?
Yeah.
What has your experience been like shooting videos? Challenging or anything unique that you didn't expect? Anything that you really enjoy?
Yeah. I didn't expect how long it takes to shoot a video.
Oh, yeah.
It is so long, and I'm so grateful that the universe did not make me a videographer, because I don't have the patience to do takes over and over again. Like if I was on the other end of the camera, like shooting it, I think I'd be fed up halfway through. Like, because it feels so long to me and it's so tiring. But I think that music videos or videos in general have to bring a lot more personality out of me that I'm not really always comfortable showing on camera. Yeah. To almost capture this character of the story that I'm trying to tell.
Interesting.
That can be different for me. It's a challenge, but I like to do it because I think it adds to the song. So I'm more willing to do it. My favorite thing ever to do is photo shoots. I love working with different photographers and editors and seeing what they come up with. I love going to get clothes and going to thrift stores and coming up with the craziest outfits because I feel like that's another way. It's like a hobby of mine now. Like I just did that before coming here. Like we have a shoot coming up and I went with my friend and we got all the clothes for all the looks for the shoot. And I feel like that's one of my favorite things to do now. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to be so involved in that.
There's definitely got to be a moment, right, where every artist has their first photo shoot or first video, and then it must dawn on them that, oh, I'm no longer just on the mic. I've been spending all this time figuring out what I want to sound like. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to look like. Exactly. What are people going to see me as? Like, that's got to be a little scary, maybe a little bit, definitely stepping into the unknown there, right? But that's a whole other half, really. I mean, it's got to exist. You've got to have visuals.
Yeah. And sometimes I think because it's so scary, that's what almost made me so involved in the process of getting the shoot together. So I try to know my place. So I love getting the clothes together because that's what I feel comfortable in. That's what I'm going to have to wear throughout the shoot. I love people like knowing who's going to do my makeup, if I'm going to do it myself because I feel more comfortable. But when it comes to doing different poses and stuff, I'm more open to that because the photographer might need me to do something that's going to capture the story of the song better, or it's going to look more creative because they're going to edit it later and they know what to do with it. So I'm a little bit more open to somebody else taking the leadership role in that department, but I love getting everything together. Yeah. It makes me feel more comfortable. Okay. It makes the process a little bit easier to go into.
Yes. Right on.
Yeah.
There's so many little intricacies, hey, of
intricacies
of being an artist, details. Like, how do you guys get any sleep? I wonder sometimes. It's just an all-encompassing, world. Being an artist is just 24/7, right? I mean, and like you said at the beginning, like it doesn't even end when you go to sleep because you're dreaming and you're projecting and you're getting ideas and messages for songs 24/7. Hey,
yeah, because it's the dream. Yeah.
So, what are some of your, I guess, like your goals going forward? You don't have to share details about unreleased projects, but where do you want to see yourself sort of in 5 years from now?
I want to be doing this properly full time, like being able to sustain myself off of it, but I just really want to be able to put out bodies of work that resonate with people. I want to be able to deliver a message of go be who you are. I know a lot of my songs are about, they come from a dark place, and I feel like everybody has a dark place, and this is the way that I can feel like I can be there for people or be somebody to relate to, because that's what music's done for me. And I just want to be that impactful. I want to be able to be an inspiration to people when they look at my shoots or when they hear something in a song that makes them be like, wow, that's a great idea. I'm going to go do my own thing. I want to be able to share that with the world. Yeah.
I guess at some point there's going to be the debut album, right? Because you've still, at this point, it's been singles and you've got an EP out.
Singles and EPs.
Yeah.
The album, I'm excited for. I feel like they're all just titles. I love just putting together bodies of work. It's also easier for me to create that way, because then it gives me direction of what am I working on right now? Like, what's the idea here? It kind of helps guide me and stay on track. But I don't know what the album's going to be.
Will that
working
be
on it?
I mean, I guess you don't know, but is there like, is it one of your goals to sign to a label to release that, or would you want to have it be an independent album?
Really depends on the deal. Depends on the deal, to be honest. I'm not opposed to it. If it's a label that's going to help me where I'm at. Honestly, people who are going to be open to the creative ideas that I have, that are going to be supportive of it, then yeah, of course, then I'll sign to it, to a label. But right now I'm independent, and I want to be able to do that well. And if that means in a couple of years or this year, if I have my album done and it's sounding good and I have all the resources to put out a great body of work, then I'm going to do that and reap the rewards of being an independent artist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way. It's so hard to say, like, yeah, I want to be signed to a label, because that's not the goal. The goal is to be able to just put out music in a way that's going to be beneficial to me and to the listener.
Put out the music that you want to put out, right?
Yeah.
Really.
I haven't run into that yet, where it's music that I don't want to put out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously when you're independent, there's no one telling you what to do, but it can definitely happen, with the label and producers and pressure and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. I won't get in. I know some people that's happened to, but I won't name names right now.
No, that I've heard about it too.
Yeah.
And it's something to be cautious about. You just got to know what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you know what you want, you know what kind of people to bring into your life or what deals to take. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But the goal is just to make more music, put out projects, put out things that resonate with people.
Yeah.
Put out the best music I ever have. Yeah.
I love it. That's so cool.
That's the
so
root
cool.
of it.
Yeah, that sounds like such a healthy attitude.
Yeah.
So positive. Now with your team and with your schedule, are you guys consciously thinking about consistency? This is a topic that comes up a lot, and I'm curious, and I see so many people doing it well and so many people don't understand it at all. But the idea of, okay, we need like something every month. We need to be constantly in the spotlight. If I disappear for 6 months, I'm basically starting from the beginning, type of thing.
Right.
Is that obviously it sounds like you're not lacking inspiration. There's so much coming through you, so much creativity. But is there still like the idea of setting a deadline? We got to have this out, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In that department, the consistency factor was something that I learned very early on. The goal with the team was, when I first started, let's try to put out a single each month.
Nice.
And we did that. We put out about 10 songs in a year, which was the goal. And it worked really well. Then there did come a time where I needed a lot of time to myself. I didn't feel like the healthiest thing for me was to put out songs, just because it almost felt a little robotic to me. I felt like I was so caught up in this cycle of putting something out that I didn't feel connected to it. And at that point, I felt like, you know what, regardless of if I have to start over or not, I need to just make music and not focus on what's going to be put out.
Yeah.
And I feel like if not now, when else am I going to do this in my career? Because if I'm planning to continue to do this and grow and have a bigger fan base and work with more people around the world, that might not be the best time for me to do that. Right. So I just chose to take some months off and regroup and think about what I wanted to put out. And then we all got together again and chose the songs that we felt fit best together. And now we've got a plan for the next year. Right. So that helps me look forward to my consistency and know what to build towards and keep a schedule going. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm always curious, historically there have been people that have done it really, really well. Like Jay-Z did an album every year for like a decade and still putting out albums in his 50s.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a different, level of prolificness. Is that a word? How much they're putting out, how much content they're putting out, how many albums they're releasing. But I always wonder, there's got to be a moment or a period where you might just feel like the well is a little dry. Like I need to step back. I need to go experience a bit of life before I have something new to write about even.
Exactly. Especially when you write authentically or about yourself.
Totally.
Yeah, I think you're so right about that. We have to live life in order to do that. In other parts of my career, consistency hasn't been the easiest for me. Using social media. I am very self-aware that I don't use it to my fullest ability. And that might be the very reason why I might not see the results that I want. But I'm trying my best to find solutions for that. And once I figure that out and get the right people to help me with that, then I'll have consistency in that department too. But I think when it comes to in terms of the music, I want to put out stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it a lot easier too, to be able to be like, oh, like each month we're going to put out something. And then after a few months, maybe we'll put out an album or a project or something like that. Yeah.
Do you think that's something you could hire someone to trust, like with that role, like a social media person, to run your accounts?
I don't think I could. I don't think I'm open to it yet, but I'm definitely open to somebody creating pieces of work that I can share with everybody every day.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm in the midst of now. So I met a really wonderful girl named Ombre, and she's going to help creative direct maybe like the next month of what I'm going to do and give me ideas and plan shoots and all of that. So I have something to put out every day even, because I can't just shit post on Instagram and be like, oh, this is what I'm eating today, or like in a studio session, like that to me is not authentic. It's really boring to me. It's difficult for me to do.
Yeah.
So if I have something creative, like a piece of art that we worked on, it's going to be easier for me to share.
Good. Yeah. Real content,
Yeah. Other people too, like Sam and Jamie, the photographer and videographer that I've worked with this year, they've also helped me get into that routine a little bit more, or just having more content available in like your folders and stuff like that you could put out. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, trying to be proactive, trying to be a few steps ahead.
Yeah.
Right. Because you never, the worst thing is just to be scrambling for, I need something now, and then you put crap out.
Yeah, or you do what I do and put out your out now 5 days before it's out, and then never post again until the next song. Yeah. I said a long time ago when I started, I told the team, I told them, I said, if it wasn't for music, I would not have social media. Like, it's not for me. I would not be doing it to gain more followers or anything like that.
To be an influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It doesn't suit my character, my personality either. Like I definitely, I make a conscious effort to try to do it, but it doesn't come natural for me.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I won't say I don't enjoy it, but it's a struggle.
It's a struggle. I think that's the best way to explain it. It is. The amount of brain power that has to go into my thoughts before putting something out it's a lot.
I've always not been good at sharing not like sharing food, but like sharing myself. I don't talk about myself. I don't like to tell strangers or even people that I know, like too many details about my life. I'm just I'm super introverted, you know? And so when I go online and posting stuff, it's like, look at me. That just feels so not me.
It's a little strange, right?
It's super strange. Yeah. So, I mean, the people that do it well, good for you. I'm happy for you. But, you know, different personality, different, you know, so many different people out there. And yeah, for some of us, it's not easy.
Well, good thing we're good at other things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I can lock myself in this room for days and I'll be fine. Just mixing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So who are you listening to right now other than yourself? Who's like getting you hyped? Who's standing out for you right now in music and end of 2022?
Who's standing out for me? I don't know. I haven't been up to date on all the music recently. I feel like this year is like the least amount of music I've listened to. Don't know why. But I love Lana Del Rey. I think Rosalia has been great. I've been listening to a lot of Latina female artists.
Cool.
Like Isabella Love Story. I think she's so good. It's so different than what I make, but I think she's so good. Who else? I'm like completely blanking out now.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the reason I ask is because I myself have to, if I didn't make a conscious effort to go listen to music, I probably wouldn't be able to name any new artists right now. I mean, I spend so much time between these two speakers here working on local artists that I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to listen to music.
Right.
You know, or I'm just like, I'm in a mode where I'm trying to mix somebody and I don't want outside influence. But I do. I mean, I make an effort to, I call it homework. I'm doing homework. I'm staying up to date with what things sound like right now. You know, what kind of trends, what production trends there are. You know, what does pop sound like right now? Where's country at? You know, and I try and listen to kind of everything. And I like I said, I call it my homework, and I want to be able to stay relevant, because from time to time I'll get an artist that comes in and oh, I really like this song, or I like this artist. Yeah. And I'll feel dumb if I don't know who they're talking about. Yeah. I want to be relevant. I want to be current. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely people that I like right now in pop. I really like Doja Cat's new album. I don't work on a ton of pop, but that really impressed me.
Yeah. Dua Lipa as well.
Dua Lipa, totally.
Yeah. That song that she had with Young Thug, I listen to it every day, like 10 times an hour.
So good. I mean, yeah, and then Jack Harlow. Those three, or like those would be my top three at the moment that I feel like are ticking off all the boxes for me. Right. Like there's nothing, I can't point to one thing that just feels out of place or cringy or awkward. Right. Everything is just so tight. The songs are so well written. Everything's mixed like amazingly. Yeah. And it's just like, this is cool. Like this is current modern music. I'm into this. Wow, these guys are doing something that I haven't heard. That's another big thing, because sometimes things sound so stale or just
pop music also has this rep that it all sounds the same, or like it's just in a box almost. But I feel like the people that you've described, like they take it out of that box that might be there for pop music,
like the 808s now. There's like 808s in pop music and rolled hi-hats and things like that. I mean, back to the Doja Cat thing, it's just it's a hybrid, really. I mean, it says pop in Apple Music and Spotify, but it's a hybrid, and it's really cool.
All the genres are just blending together.
They really are.
That's why when people even ask me, like, what genre are you? I don't know. Yeah. I just sing.
Yeah. Honestly, like alternative, R&B. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of all of them, right? It's drawing elements. You know, when I listen, like I said, I've been listening to your catalog, and I'm hearing a lot of different things in there, but they're all blended in such a way that they fit nicely, you know, tastefully. Yeah. And that's hard to do. You know, you know,
Thank you.
I'll never forget when I heard Trouble, Trouble from Taylor Swift. And it had like the dubstep breakdown, and then it went into country. We listened to that at Nimbus in class, because we used to do like our weekly, and I think that's where I got this habit from, of listening to new music. But it was in class at Nimbus, and we would just go, teacher would open, browse.
Wow.
We'd play like the new, whatever was new that week. And I'll never forget when we heard Trouble by Taylor Swift, we were like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, just a huge mind fuck.
Just a huge mashup of things, but it worked, and it was really cool.
Yeah. Another artist that I thought has been one of the best artists out of this year is Pink Pantheress.
Tell me more.
She's from the UK. Okay. It's like hyper pop.
Okay.
But she just has a really beautiful voice. And it's something so retro about it too. Like it's like she's from like a 90s girl band, but she's doing hyper pop, and what is it called? Garage? UK garage?
Grunge?
No, it's garage.
Garage. Okay.
I don't know about my genres, but listen to her music. It's really good.
What's she called again?
Pink Pantheress.
Pink Pantheress.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll remember that.
Yeah, she's been really great. I would say that out of all the artists that have come out this year, she's been my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, hyperpop is a name or a term that you didn't hear 5 years ago. Like I remember just not that long, a year ago, someone was like, "Oh, like there's this new hyperpop song." I really like it. What's hyperpop?
Yeah, it sounds aggressive.
And then, it happened to be a Jamon song that I helped him mix that was, I guess, was quote unquote like a hyper pop song. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like I see what's happening. And it does sound just super energetic, I guess is the best way I could describe it. Just like somebody had a couple too many cans of Monster. Yeah. And then got on the MIDI keyboard.
Yeah. They put the hyper in the right spot on
in the right spot. But cool, and definitely elements of trap in there, and elements of like heavy 808s, and I think what I can sum up from this is that hip hop is really has been at the forefront of music kind of for the last decade.
It influences so
everything
much.
Is kind of influenced by that. Like you listen to a country song now versus a country song before Drake era, like the low end in country songs now is massive. There's so much bass.
Wow.
It's just this huge, like it's like they're drawing in that sound from hip hop. The new Harry Styles, some of the new Harry Styles stuff, if you listen to it on a good system, like in here, it's just massive. Like it's not like the kick is forward in the mix. It still sounds like a alternative like pop song, but it's just got this massive low end that you wouldn't have heard in the Britney Spears era, for example. Wow. And that when I hear that shit, it's like really impressive. It's really blowing my mind. Like, wow, like everyone's trying that low end thing. Like they're bringing that in from hip hop. You're hearing that a lot. Definitely a trend. So wow. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But yeah, for me, Harry Styles, another real, like his last two albums.
Yeah,
just
I've heard so much about him this year, but I honestly haven't taken the time to dive into it.
It's really good. It's just simple. It's simple. Production's not crazy. Just really good songs. Comes down to songwriting.
Yeah.
Really good songwriting.
Yeah.
Something that could be sort of translated to, like, you could make a cover of it. Here's what I think a really good song is like a really good song, you can make a cover out of it really easily. Like think about Hey Ya, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
I've heard covers of that are just like acoustic and vocal, and it's like it's still such a good song with two elements.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about the Harry Styles stuff too. Like you could just strip it all down, and they're just really, really well thought out songs from the like the fundamentals.
Is it like the structure that does that for you, or is it?
It's it's lyrics and melody. It's really like down to baby stuff. Yeah. The simplest.
What starts the song
off. Like, what are you going to whistle along to when the song's over? Like, think about when we're in kindergarten,
Yeah.
like learning London bridges,
Yeah.
you know, or ABCs or whatever. Like, you know, it's just the melody and the lyrics.
Perfect.
And then maybe it doesn't even need drums.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's a good song.
Yeah.
You got to have like the fundamentals nailed.
Mm.
So yeah, those are really well done.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some of my favorite songs have been songs with great lyrics because I connect to them. That's what does it for me too. So it does go back to the fundamentals, but maybe for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what people sing along to. I mean, the lyrics are what connects to your heart, and then the melodies are what like someone from another language can connect to.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all singing Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
I don't speak Korean, but like
Yeah.
we're all singing that.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, it's another example of like a band, you know, a band from a, you know, Gypsy Kings, Rammstein, you know, but you know, K-pop,
What gets
J-pop,
stuck in
all that
your
stuff.
head.
It's like what's getting stuck in my head.
Yeah.
The BTS,
Yeah.
for God's sake. It's just like it's so catchy. I don't
goes on
speak
and
that
on.
language, but
Yeah.
like when that song's done and it comes on the next time, I'm like I'm singing. I'm trying to sing along to the hook, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's good songwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everything else falls into place after that, I think. You don't want to overlook or skip steps. Still want to get a good mix and master.
Yeah.
But the song's not there, like, you know, nothing's really there.
Yeah. Well, that's
The
so
song.
true. Yeah. That's what a song is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I know I do get caught up in all the technical shit and the this and the that, but at the end of the day, like, what are we really doing here? We're making music. We're making songs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not involved in production or lyric writing, but I try and instill that idea into the artists that I work with. If they're coming to record, give them that idea, you know, make it simpler sometimes.
You facilitate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You help facilitate that. Yeah.
You know, try and leave, where's my water at? Try and
on the
leave
other
space. You know, try and leave gaps. Don't cram everything in there. Just make it simple. What can a child sing along to this? Can someone from
Right.
another country follow what you're saying? You know, go, shorty.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. We go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, somebody in rural
know it.
rural Russia is singing along
Yeah.
with that one.
Yeah. Everybody knows it.
Yeah. So who was like your dream collaboration?
One person I'd love to work with is Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I want him to do a bass line on one of my songs
nice.
so badly.
Yeah.
He's so talented.
Yeah.
When I was younger and when I would play the bass, I would just try to practice every single Flea bass line.
Oh,
Just
really?
because I wanted to be just like, I want to be as good as him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never heard anything like it before.
I wouldn't have expected
Dream
that
collab.
answer. That's
And
very
I
cool.
love the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mhm.
I've read Anthony's book and Flea's book, and then that made me want to work with him even more. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that. A lot of, not a lot, but there's definitely rock and alternative elements in some of the stuff that I've heard from you. Have you thought about like totally doing that, stepping out of R&B completely and just doing like a rock record or, you know, like,
I don't think a rock record,
Yeah.
but some of the unreleased stuff has gone a different direction.
a different direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could just play it right now so then it would make
Yeah.
so much more
Yeah.
sense and I could describe it so
I see.
much more. But after, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about, who do you like in Vancouver right now?
Lots of people. I feel like a lot of Vancouver artists have grown on me and I've discovered more of them that align with my music taste or what I enjoy. I hope I don't miss anybody, but Cherry Blue, He's a producer. He makes his own music. He sings on his own stuff. I've gotten the chance to work with him, and he makes a lot of incredible records on his own too. Dassy the band, they're really, really good. They do great live shows as well. I like Prado. She's always popping off and doing her thing. Known, Jamon. Who else? Lots of people.
Yeah.
They're just not coming.
There's so
to my
many.
mind. Yeah.
I'm staggering amount of people in this city.
So much talent. So much talent.
Been singing this city's praises for years.
Yeah.
But it's true, like Vancouver, man. You know, people like yourself, people like Jamon are on your way. Like I can see that trajectory. Like it's just only a matter of time before you guys are international. But there's so many other people too, like just waiting in line.
Yeah.
People that I know myself. I won't name names because it's like wedding speech. You forget somebody and then you feel terrible. But
yeah, and you think about it after.
And then, but like a bunch of people that I'm working with, I'm just like so stoked on. Like so stoked on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like some of my favorite music is the people that I'm working with right now, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to almost answer when you asked me earlier who you're listening to. And it's like the people that I work with.
Yeah.
They inspire me every day. Yeah.
So
like sometimes I go to the studio with Kotar and I'm like, who'd you work with this week?
Yeah.
Like show me all the music that you worked on. Or he'll just show me and other producers that I get to work with. Like I just dive into their catalog and I'm like, oh my God, like you produced this and sang this. Like let's do something like this together. Like I love bringing my own song or the other person's song that I'm working with and being like, this is the inspiration for today. I feel like it's so much easier to pull from because you've already done it or touched on it or it's closer to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So true. So yeah, I just want to get all these people the attention they deserve.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this year that having a whole bunch of new first-time guests on the show, which I'm really looking forward to. I've already got a bunch lined up, but then there's a whole bunch of other people too that just have an endless stream of guests. You know, and I want to get more collaborations, more people talking about each other. Because that's how we're gonna come up. It's just we got to build each other up too.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, not stepping on each other's toes, but like let's all talk about each other. Let's share each other's work. Let's let's put the city on the map and really show people what the hell they've been missing.
Yeah,
on the West
and the people
Coast.
that you fuck with, like be open about that. Be like, yeah, this is my favorite artist from here, and this person, and like go find those people in Vancouver because there's so many of us.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many of us, and
so many.
Yeah.
And all genres too. Like it's crazy. I just had my friend Garrett over a couple of days ago. He was on the podcast, so I can talk about this, and he's showing me unreleased stuff that he is working on, and it's just phenomenal. Like it's just world-class talent that some local country and rock people totally different from what I do. Like I never would touch that stuff, not that I'm not open to it, but it's like a whole nother realm for me.
Right.
And I'm like, god damn, there's amazing singers and rappers and all these dope country artists like right here under our noses, man.
So many.
It's exciting.
It's a really busy time for the city.
Yeah.
And it's anybody's game. Like we don't know who's going to blow up next. Like it could be you, it could be the other person next to you. You don't know. You don't know.
But it's all good. It's all good as long as we rep where we're from.
Yeah. We rep where we're from and understand there's a space for everybody. There is no shortage of that.
Totally.
Like with the world we live in now, there is space for everybody. It's everybody can win. Yeah. Exactly.
You're not taking away someone else's, or someone else isn't taking away your 15 minutes on the mic at the comedy club by doing a good set. Like there's space for all of us to exist and do our thing. I like to remind myself that no one person is a fan of just one artist.
Exactly.
Like think about that for a sec. You can be a fan of Revé and 20 other people, and that's okay. That's great.
Yeah, that's
so
a good thing.
Encourage that. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So like let other people succeed.
Yeah.
It's not taking anything away.
And then that sometimes for me goes away, that positive train of thought, and it gets so easy to compare ourselves or feel like we're running out of time or that we're behind or just because somebody else is doing something different than you or maybe achieved a goal that was yours sooner than you could have done it.
100%.
But just that that you have to remind yourself there is no race, and you just have to be okay with the way things are going and be happy about it. And when you're a fan of other people around you and you appreciate the music that's coming out, it's easier for you to step into that mindset, to be accepting of that and where you're at.
Yeah. No, it's totally true. It's healthy, it's open-minded, and you're just helping yourself, really. I think. So yeah, just promote the things that you like. Promote other people. I'm a huge advocate of that. That's why I do the show. Because I know what's out there, and I want to showcase it. As much as I can.
Yeah.
So, what have we not talked about yet? Music videos, mixing, songwriting, dream collaborations.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything that you want to touch on that, like, maybe that you can give us a taste of in the near future that we should look forward to from Revé? Something we could, like, on the horizon?
I think just prepare to have your mind blown by what's coming out next, because you won't expect it. I don't think you'll expect it.
Okay.
And be open-minded to it, and I just hope everybody enjoys it. There's a lot of just me, who I am, going into it, and there's a lot of experimenting going into it, which is a lot of fun, but can be nerve-wracking when you're putting it out. But I think just be excited. Yeah, be excited for, honestly, I think maybe a different sound to come out of Vancouver, something nobody's really heard yet, especially from me. Yeah.
Atlanta did it. The West Coast did it after hip hop came out of New York. Not every, but there have been these moments, and then trap was invented. I wonder what the next thing's going to be. You know what I mean? I wonder what the next sound is going to be. That I'm always looking forward to, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came out of Vancouver. Could happen. Like a new thing, a new sound.
Yeah, I hope it does. I hope it comes out of Vancouver. I hope somebody does it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting time. Super exciting time to be around and be making music.
Yeah.
So it's ALWAYSREVÉ online on IG.
Revé. Yep.
And on Apple Music, Spotify, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere music is streamable.
Yeah.
Right. Music videos on YouTube as well, I imagine, right? What do people need to type in? Just
ALWAYSREVÉ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Outstanding.
And you'll find me there.
Yeah.
And I'll be there with my music videos and all my songs.
Tremendous. This has been so much fun. Thank you.
It's been great catching up.
So good catching
sharing.
up.
Yeah.
Ever since I met you, I've always been so inspired by you. I just want to say that.
Thank you so much.
I remember, I'll never forget our first session at 2-Track. It was, I had like an energy that day after that I can't remember having any other session.
Wow.
When we first met, we recorded, and I was like, something special about her.
Wow.
So thank you. I can't wait to see more of you, to hear more of your music. Like I said, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Well, thanks for letting me come into that space that day and begin my career. That was the moment. And every moment on from there, every honest question that you asked me, that made me reflect and answer honestly, and it helped me grow into what I am now and everything I'm going to do later in life. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's been
amazing.
Good.
Cool. Well, that's it for us for today, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. It's Max Deshaw, ALWAYSREVÉ on Demo to Limo, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Nice.